Down there were 105 human beings and 6 team members on board Cubana de Aviation flying DMJ-0972 of Havana to Holguin, Cuba, while the aircraft smashed as it was take off at 12:08 p.m. on Friday. Amateurish live video undertaken soon following the collapse showed a big ball lightning and heavy feather of fume growing of a box and woody region adjoining the aeroport. The Boeing 737-200 was break in several sections, in the aircraft's burnt plume vacationer versus a wood. Occupant stuff were dispersed through a broad region. From Cuba, Country Print informed how 100 of the passengers were from Cuba and 5 were foreigners. The 6 team members were Mexico countrymen, on to World Airline Company, that managed the flying for Cubana. Amongst the 105 passengers were 4 persons, family and an baby, from Cuba, Country Print informed. Argentina's overseas ministry told 2 passengers were Argentinian. Down there were 3 survivors of the collapse, from Cuba, Country Print informed. The 3, all female, were in crucial state and creature purified in Havana, from Cuba, Country Print told. One of the 3 survivors was identified by the country-run paper Juventud Rebelde as Emily Sanchez de Loo, 39, of the provincial of Holguin, Cuba. The female was creature purified for severe burns, a break leg and marrow trauma. She had been located on a fan, onto the paper. Officials were yet work on identification a other female, who they believed was among the ages of 18 and 25 ancient. Juventud Rebelde informed she was affliction of marrow trauma, a broken pelvic and a connection crack to a leg and hard bloodstream losing. The tertiary surviving has as well not been identified, but on to Juventud Rebelde, was believed by officials to be about 30 ancient. She incurred marrow trauma, break legs and had to expose surgical, the paper informed. From Cuba, CEO Miguel Diaz-Canel toured the collapse website on Friday and told from Cuba officials would search to define which inflicted the collapse. In supplement to mourn which occurred and show cohesion to the families, he told. This events will be studied and all the data will be shared. From Cuba CEO Raul Castro, convalescent of bladder herniation surgical, is aware of the collapse and is stay aware on the position, by the government told. Household members of the victims of the town of Holguin, Cuba, more than rather than 700 kilometers, on 435 miles, east of the from Cuba Equity, were creature driven by bus to Havana to encounter in from Cuba officials deceased Friday, on to from Cuba Country Print. The from Cuba by the government given a declaration how the Isle would watch a time of formal weeping of 6:1 m. Saturday night before stroke of midnight on Saturday, and how flags at social buildings and war installations would fly at part personnel. It was not once precise which inflicted the Boeing 737-200 to abruptly collapse as it was take away. Time the aircraft was flyer a path for Cuba's greatest domestic transporter Cubana. The almost 40-year-old Boeing 737-200 was belonging by the Mexico airline company Aerolíneas Dama and rented to Cubana de Aviation, the Mexico civilian aircraft credibility told in a declaration. The location named as a damp rent allows one transporter to ensure an plane, team and support to else transporter. In latter weeks, Cubana has cancelled national air transportation and remote planes of facility above security concerns in its own plane. Lot of the collapse region remained cordoned off Saturday, as from Cuba officials extended their inquiry in the crash. Residents told the aircraft tightly skipped challenging more than injuries and loss of life on the land.